All right, a very good evening to you. It's time for News Night, and we'll be giving you all the updates of the stories coming in for the next 1 hour. Bring you all the details in the news world. Follow us on social media at Metro TV Ghana. On Twitter and Instagram is Metro TV _GH. We'll take a closer look at the headlines of stories coming up. Issues of unregistered TESCON members withdrawal from aspirants, among other issues, characterized day of the regional executive elections for the NPP. We'll be bringing you all the details of that one. Majority in Parliament refused claims Parliament has financial constraints, as they say the Finance Minister has released 25 million Ghana cedis for the effective running of the House. Now, education think tank Africa Education Watch calls on the World Bank to conduct an independent audit on the training of teachers by KA Technologies to establish scope and relevance. Our news from outside our borders said Chief Texas safety officials say police made the wrong decision by failing to storm the classroom in Robb Elementary School as the gunmen killed 19 children inside. We're bringing you all the stories around the country, especially starting with the NPP, and the Northern Regional Executive elections of the NPP came to a standstill after 32 TESCON members tried voting when only 15 of them captured in the register. Supporters in the party invaded the stadium when they showed up to vote. Now, our Northern Regional correspondent Al-Hassan Dibaba is on the ground to bring us more. Al-Hassan, you're welcome. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Annie.
So I spoke with you in the afternoon. It was all peaceful, and authorities assured that we were prepared and ready for this election. How come this development?
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, as we speak, voting has ended and counting has also ended. In fact, many of the incumbent executives of the New Patriotic Party, whom many of the grassroots supporters were calling for their exit, have been retained. Unfortunately, when the voting was going on, it was time for TESCON members to vote, and supporters of the New Patriotic Party invaded the sports stadium because they were expecting 15 members, including a coordinator plus a coordinator, to vote as TESCON members. But unfortunately, about 32 of them showed up at the Tamale Sports Stadium to vote, which angered many of the supporters of the New Patriotic Party, and they protested that if those people were allowed to vote, they will not allow the results to be counted. So voting has to be suspended for some 30 to 1 hour before it was resolved. So those people, their names were struck out of the register, leaving only the 16 people that they are all aware of in the register. So when the names were taken out of the register, the protesters allowed the voting to continue. Meanwhile, the incumbent chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Northern Region, Alhaji Bantima Samba, retained his seat with a difference of about 116 votes. The contender, Alhaji Dagomba Boy, got 122 votes, while Chairman Samba, the incumbent chairman, got 238 votes. In fact, it is worth mentioning that only the regional secretary and the regional Nasara coordinator lost their positions. All of the rest of the incumbent executives retained their seats, which was not expected by many of the grassroots supporters of the New Patriotic Party. Meanwhile, in the early hours of today, about 7 people were arrested. In fact, 8 people were arrested by police in the Tamale Sports Stadium because they came in illegally. And the police were not happy because they were directed that all those who are not accredited to come into the park should not be in the stadium. So when they got those people, they arrested them, and as we speak, they are still at the police headquarters helping in investigations.
To the register, how many names were not in the register and were supposed to have been inside?
Yes, the TESCOM members were supposed to be 26. No, there were supposed to be 16 people. Meanwhile, earlier we received information that there were 32, and later they changed it to 26 members, which was not still okay with the supporters of the party, because according to them, they know of 16 TESCOM members. But it turned out that there were 32 and reduced to 26. So the election committee met with the aspirants, and it was agreed that the 10 people should be struck out of the register, which they did, and the supporters allowed the elections to go on. So as we speak, everything has ended, and they have been sworn in. The 16 executives who have been elected have been sworn in by Dr. Aminu Anta, the Karga MP, who is the chairman of the Northern Regional Elections Committee.
So those who, whose names were, removed from the register, how did they react to the action?
Well, another incident that happened was the removal of the Council of Elders and Council of Patrons. So it was also trying to bring problems to the election. So they decided to suspend all of them. All those they replaced with the old ones were not allowed to vote, so they didn't vote. All the 6 people that were removed protested that they will not allow for the new people to vote. So the election committee also agreed that those people should not vote because it was trying to bring confusion into the park. And when they agreed that they should not vote, the thing was cool and everybody went about voting without any challenge.
So, in effect, we're trying to say that the election has taken place, it has ended, all other issues have been settled?
Yes, exactly. All the outstanding issues were resolved and counting went on. As we are speaking, everything has ended. They have declared all those who have won, and the elections committee has sworn them in, and that is how it ended. So as we speak, we are even in our houses, everything has ended, and the incumbent executives, except the regional secretary and the regional Nasara coordinator, the rest retained their seats.
And the chairman was retained. How about the secretary?
Yes, the secretary lost to the former Tolong regional secretary, Dr. Hudu, who contested the incumbent secretary, and he also the incumbent secretary lost to Dr. Hudu. The incumbent Nasara coordinator also lost to Mr. Ajidan, a newcomer. But the rest of the executives maintained their seats as Northern Regional Executives of the party.
Right. Deepa, thank you for the details. Just monitor and make sure that you come through should anything arise subsequently. So that's, in the North, what has happened there. And obviously, it has ended and we have the results. Or we can say for now that the chairman has been retained, but the secretary has been changed. More details will come up and we'll give you all the updates later. But for now, winners have already been declared for the NPP regional elections in the Bono East and the Ahafo regions as well, after voting got underway today, Friday, May 27, 2022. Let's get onto the video wall and then see, how the winners actually, who the winners are. So we have winners of Bono East NPP elections chairman, Ibrahim Baba Bukari, first vice chairman Amwa King David Kwao, second vice chair Baba Abdallah, secretary David Boache, assistant secretary Mahama Seidu, Liman, organizer Suleiman Musa, women's organizer Sophia Free Danso, Nasara coordinator will be Jibril Abubakar. And regional executive delegates conference. Okay, so we have Ahafo. NPP Owusu Sechere, first vice chair, chairman Owusu Sechere, first vice chair, Justice Nchi, second vice chair Osebonsu, assistant secretary, Citizen Akoto, organizer Nana Edu, secretary Nchi Eric, Nasara coordinator Ahmed. I think we're yet to get his other name, but we have Ahmed for now. Women's organizer Adjoa Fosua, youth organizer Seth Odro, treasurer is Eugene Kusi. delegates there. Now let's go on to the Volta region, and Metro TV's regional correspondent reports that some 17 delegates will not be able to vote tomorrow. Earlier, he reported that some names had been found missing in the register, and he joins us via phone for more updates. Christian Ahode, you're welcome. Good evening to you. Hello, Ahode. Right, we're trying to connect with Christian Ahode, who's a man in the Volta region, to tell us what is going on. Christian, can you hear me? Okay. As and when we get Christian Ahode, we will get there. But more of the results that have come in, certified results from Savannah Regional Executive Elections. We have Chairman Alhaji Suleimana Idrisu, Vice Chairman Dr. Amudu Musa, Second Vice Chairman Johnson Kwame Jinde, Secretary Mohammed Issa, Women's Organizer Hajia Safia Mohammed, and then we have Assistant Secretary Mayoyo Aminu Sulemana. Organizer is Kwame Abuaji. Treasurer Abu Lutie. Youth Organizer Raphael Akati Mama. Nasara Coordinator Mohammed Mahe Bamba. That's the Nasara Coordinator. That's a certified result from the Savannah Regional Executive Elections, and that's what we have here. What's the next certified result that we have? Okay, we'll come back to more results that have come in later on the video wall. Now, it is confirmed that 2 aspirants, one contesting the second vice chairmanship position in the, and the other the treasurer position in the ongoing MPP regional elections to be held on Saturday, May 28, 2022 in the Eastern region, have stepped aside. Nana Akoto and Opoku da Costa have not given any reason for their decision. Meanwhile, all is set for the election scheduled for the Koforidua Cultural Center in the Eastern region.
A visit to the venue for the Eastern Regional NPP elections on Friday saw huge billboards and banners mounted all over the cultural center. The secretary of the elections committee in the Eastern region, Osei Bonsuamwa, mentioned that preparations are far advanced and expectations high for peaceful elections. He assured of effective security.
Nobody should have any cause.
Nobody has brought an injunction. No one should have the cause to bring an injunction. Only Ekuapem North haven't done the election. We are expecting everyone to follow the rules and regulations, and the delegates should abide by it too.
Some aspirants were spotted there to monitor preparations of the venue and to assess strategic points to mount billboards, spoke to the media.
We have sold our message to them. They have accepted it. It's left for them to vote for what they believe in. They will be voting for 2024 leaders. Well, I am not afraid of the contest. Delegates know my hard work, so I am not worried. I am expecting over 600 votes in the contest.
Out of the 23 aspirants, 2 had stepped down from the contest. Kofi J is Metro TV's correspondent for the election coverage, and he spoke with us on the developments.
Prior to this election, there was information there that we cannot confirm, that there was a call from the presidency that one honorable Jeff Kunadu, who was their secretary, the regional secretary, contesting for the chairmanship position now, and one Paul Amani, who contested last 4 years ago, were asked to step down by the president for one Kojo Ajimambuate to come in. But looking at this, Jeff Kunadu refused to step down, but Paul Amani did so and went in for the second vice position.
Almost 700 delegates are expected to cast their ballots on Saturday.
Now, in less than 24 hours to the MPP Eastern Regional Executive Elections, structures of the party started the public endorsement for the candidates. Now, government spokesperson and New Patriotic Party communication team members in the Eastern region have also endorsed and declared support for the candidature of Mr. Kojo Boateng Agyemang for the New Patriotic Party Eastern Regional Chairmanship race.
Group at the press conference held in Koforidua pleaded with the delegates to vote massively for Kojo Boateng Agyemang. According to them, the MPP in it bid to break the 8 requires leaders who believe in the legacy of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and are in the position to trumpet same. They say Kojo Boateng is the best bet to chair the Eastern Regional Party office. Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party MPP in the Eastern Region, David Pra, addressed the press.
He has also instituted entrepreneurial policy at New Drabin North, and he wants to escalate this to the entire region. A good number of our youth will receive entrepreneurial, vocational, technical skills training free of charge, and that is Chairman Kojo Boateng.
All is set for the elections on Saturday, May 28, 2022.
Now let's go into the Volta Region. Metro TV's Volta Regional correspondent reports that some 17 delegates will not be able to vote tomorrow. Earlier, he reported that some names had been found missing in the register. Christian Ahode has joined us now. Christian, you're welcome. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Annie.
Do we have any change since the updates you gave us in the afternoon?
Yeah, so far in the Volta region, all is set for tomorrow election in the auditorium of Ho Technical University. But this afternoon, some TESCON executive had a press conference complaining that over 17 names of TESCON executives across the region have been removed from the register that they will be using tomorrow for tomorrow's election. And they are calling on the leadership of the NPP National to intervene. And the second issue here is tomorrow to Ketu South municipality will not be casting their votes. That's 17 delegates from Ketu South constituency will not be casting their vote tomorrow. The reason being that Ketu South was not able to head their constituency election. So that made it that they cannot vote tomorrow at the primary tomorrow.
Hello, Christian.
Yeah, Annie.
So what will happen to them then?
Okay. Meaning the total number they are having in their register, meaning that 17 people from the Ketu South constituency will be taken out so far. So, according to them, they will be having more than 300 to 400 delegates who will be casting their vote tomorrow. So, if we are taking the 17 people out of this, meaning we are going to get about 260 plus delegates across the region. So, out of the 18 constituency in the Volta region, 8 constituency in the Volta region, only 7 will be casting their vote tomorrow.
But why is this development coming up now?
For now, in the Volta region, everything is very calm. And this evening, I visited the venue, and all the aspirants are also there. Some of the aspirants are there. I'm able to meet the regional chairman and also the other contestant and other members who are also contesting for various positions. And people are mounting their banners and all over. And
right, Christian, I asked why this development of some members, going to be taken off the register, why that development is coming up now?
Okay, according to for TESCON site, according to them, is this afternoon that they were able to submit that list. That is why. Because they were hiding the list from them and that they were not able to get it earlier. So it's only this afternoon that they submit that list and their attention was drawn that those 17 people from TESCON will not be casting their vote tomorrow.
Right, Christian, follow through, and then we'll come back to you. Definitely, we're following it up throughout the night and also to tomorrow morning when other votes also will be happening in the Volta region. It will happen tomorrow. Now, President of the Tertiary Students Confederacy, that is TESCON, of the ruling New Patriotic Party in some tertiary institutions in the Ashanti region have protested against what they describe as an attempt by some figures in the region to remove their names from the voters' register. According to them, 35 anomalies have been identified in the TESCON delegates list, which, according to them, when not addressed, could mar the elections and credibility of the process scheduled for Saturday, May 28, 2022, at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
Addressing a press conference on Friday afternoon, the group made up of TESCON presidents in the Ashanti region asserted that the current TESCON list they have cited is fraudulent and not a true representation of TESCON. They have called on authorities of the party to, as a matter of urgency, address the anomalies before Saturday's voting.
We have people who has been replaced to vote for a certain institution which they are not even the students of such institutions. And we have those who are students of that institution, but they are not TESCON president. And we know, they said a leader or a member from the TESCON from accredited institution should do that. But the question is that if it is a member should do that, it is the institution TESCON member who has to select who will represent them, or it is someone who will sit one corner and choose someone to go and represent people which you don't even know them. Yes.
Meanwhile, at the time of filing this report, preparations were feverishly ongoing at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Giant banners of aspirants, including those vying for the national position, have flooded the frontage of the stadium. Meanwhile, information gathered is that the Ashanti Regional Elections Committee Chairman, Simon Osei-Mensah, has ordered for the removal of all posters and banners which have been mounted inside the stadium.
Right, so I have been joined via phone by Posa Ben Efson to discuss the election so far and possibility to analyze what's going to happen tomorrow as well. Ben Efson, thank you for your time. Good evening. Welcome to News Tonight. So I hope you've been following, yes, the primaries of the elections of the NPP now at the regional level. What's your opinion so far?
Well, I've been following especially the two of their strongholds. That is Ashanti and Eastern region. Eastern region, I think, will be held tomorrow. Ashanti, I think, will be held tomorrow too. The two, because the fortunes of MPP depends on how well they perform. In Ashanti, if Chairman to me is retained, it's going to be a big problem for the NPP in 2024 because his performance in the run-up to 220 elections, as proven by the results, was very unsatisfactory. In 2016, the MPP got 76% in Ashanti region. In 2020, it fell to 71.6%. Anytime the MPP gets 70 or below, the NDC wins the election. So if the NDC gets close to 30% in Ashanti, they get about 40-42% in the Eastern region, they will win the presidential election. So these are the two areas, and these are, I think that of all the constituencies, these are the two most hotly contested regions. I think that Central has been put on hold because of a court injunction.
In that case, let's focus a bit in the Ashanti region because even that's about more the hottest area now. What are the chances of the MPP maintaining its lead and maybe dwindling that of the NDC with the new chairman they will bring on board, either they maintain or they bring another person?
I think that I'll be very surprised if Wontumi wins, because clearly I think the last straw, which seems to have annoyed the supporters, is the house that he rented as the party's headquarters. They were unable to pay the rent and they were thrown out. That one, vis-a-vis the performance in 2020, you get the sense, if you talk to delegates who were going to be elected and those who were elected, you get the sense that there's the need for him to be changed. If Wontumi wins, I believe that it's going to be very difficult for the NPP in 2024.
There's been also some issues coming up with the TESCON or the list of TESCON delegates. We've gone to the north, we've gone to the Volta region, we've gone to the eastern region, and almost all the regions we've gone to, it looks as though TESCON delegates are being removed from the register. What do you think is accounting for this?
Well, then it means that the TESCON, the NPP is weak in their TESCON branches. Because if they were strong, they would have had issues, they would have had their members well documented. So it means that the NPP's presence in the TESCONs is weak, and that I think accounts for why there were more reasons in getting TESCON delegates.
I see. Now, you know, the ones that have constituency issues, I mean, especially legal issues to you know, deal with, how do you think those ones should be handled until they come to a conclusion and then prepare for the national elections?
Oh, I think that once there are legal issues, unless they have to wait for the court to resolve it, they cannot resolve it outside the judicial process. So
right.
That, I think that is going to be the main issue they will have to deal with. They will have to just go through the courts to resolve it.
Does the NPP need a whole crop of new leadership, new faces, even at the regional, national level, and why?
I don't think that they need. I think that if you look at the elections, for example, for the constituency elections, 68% incumbents were taken out and 32% retained. The regional, some may lose, but if you see that the NPP lost quite a lot of seats in the 2020 elections. And that I think accounts for most of 68% of incumbents being kicked out in the constituency elections. So clearly, the delegates are responding to the non-performance of their executives.
Right. Paulson Benefson, thank you. We'll engage you some more tomorrow since more of this voting is going to be happening in other regions, and we'll be bringing you all the updates. Our men are scattered, you know, all across the country, and we'll bring you the updates. As and when you're still watching News Tonight here on Metro TV, we'll take a breather and be back with some more stories. Welcome back to News Tonight. Let's go to Parliament. And my majority in Parliament say the Finance Ministry has released 25 million Ghana cedis for the effective running of Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Sumana Babing, yesterday lamented the dire financial constraints Parliament is currently facing.
Going forward, we don't want to have any banter with the Speaker. But where we think that things need to be straightened, we find a very much more for want of a better expression, a much more diplomatic way of reaching out to ensure that we have peace and coexist in a peaceful manner for the progress and the execution of the work of Parliament. So it's to emphasize that the 25 million goods and services due Parliament has been duly released. It's hit the account of Parliament, and therefore there should be no cause of alarm. Further, a 50 million due the NHIA has also been released. I want to put on record that going forward, to avoid some of these presumptuous statements and unfortunate statements coming out, we are going to liaise closely with the Minister of Finance. I'm sure this is a matter of communication.
Meanwhile, the Majority Chief Whip Frank Anadompre has also argued that the Speaker of Parliament erred in directing the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to account for all COVID-19 related expenditure before the House. According to him, the Speaker doesn't wield the power to block approval of loans.
Earlier monies spent on COVID, there has not been some transparency or accountability, and therefore they wouldn't allow that. I had moved a motion for the question not to be put. You know, there had been the debate, and we were just on the verge of the Speaker putting the question. Then I had moved that you shouldn't put the question because I thought that we needed to do some more consultation. And you recall that Speaker had ruled that he's giving directive that unless the Finance Minister comes to the House to more or less render an account of monies released in relation to COVID, they will not be allowed for that agreement or motion to be taken. I also felt it was a bit unfortunate because, you know, and here I'm choosing my word and expressions carefully. The Speaker has no persona on his own. For those of you who have followed Parliament, such decision has to be the sense of the House. So he communicates the sense of the House, but he cannot communicate his own decision.
Now, in other stories, the education think tank Africa Education Watch is calling on the World Bank to conduct an independent audit of the training by KA Technologies to establish its scope, relevance, quality, and reach, and make public its findings on the implementation of the training of teachers in digital literacy program under the Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcome Project, GALLOP. Now, this, according to the Edu Watch, is in a bid to put to rest the contention surrounding the digital learning training disclaimer by the Ghana Education Service and affirm the institutional credibility of Ministry of Education. On Thursday, Minister of Education Dr. Yaw Adutwum strongly refuted claims of embezzlement of $1.2 million meant for the training of some 4,000 teachers across the country. The minister said the money from the World Bank is sitting in the accounts of the Education Ministry. Executive Director for the Education Watch, Kofi Asare, has been following this threat for some time now and joins us for some analysis on this issue. Kofi Asare, thank you so much for your time. Good evening and you're welcome.
Hi, good evening and good evening to your cherished audience.
Right. So why the need for this probe that you're calling for? Is it not enough the information the Education Minister has put out?
Well, there is an issue between a principal and an agent. The Ministry of Education is the principal, responsible for policy formulation and coordinating of same, and the Ghana Education Service is the implementing agency. The teachers are staff of the GES. Now, the employer GES is saying that you have not trained my staff. And the ministry, the policy formulator is saying that we have trained them. Do you think a statement is enough to not just clarify matters, but restore or affirm the credibility and integrity of the ministry? I don't think so. Because within the scheme of things, there is a middleman, which is the World Bank. The World Bank is the one funding this program and the one in the capacity to determine independently whether the training were conducted or not. And that is why we have called for an independent verification or audit of the result of the training by the World Bank and put to rest the issue of whether or not training were undertaken, because it's important for the credibility and the integrity of the Ministry of Education to remain intact in the sense that This is a ministry that is responsible for implementing $218 million projects. $218 million project. That's the single largest project that the education sector has ever seen. And integrity and credibility is key for such a responsibility, to be entrusted, in an agency like the Ministry of Education. And it's also strengthen the confidence of the development community and also all stakeholders in our Ministry of Education. And that is why we have called for the World Bank to conduct this verification audit.
Now, one thing that's also not so clear from the minister, I mean, I'm playing the devil's advocate now on the other side, or on the other hand, is that he says that the money is sitting right in the account of the Education Ministry. However, he has also indicated that some exercises have been undertaken as far as this project is concerned. So you're not too sure if it is the full $1.2 million that is sitting in the account, or some have been put to the project as having been, voiced by the minister.
Well, clarity is required here, but I can give that clarity. You see, within the scheme of the Gallup project, World Bank does not give funding for implementing activities. They actually provide the funding as a reimbursement after activities have been conducted. So we are discussing an issue of a training that was supposed to have been done by November of last year. And the request for funds made somewhere towards the end of November, and funds reimbursed to the ministry, in April this year. You understand? So it is not as though the World Bank is giving the money upfront for the training to be done. No. The World Bank uses what they call outcome-based financing mechanisms, to fund these programs under Gallup. And so the activity has been done, report has been submitted to the extent that activity has been done, and then the has been released, more or less reimbursed, quote unquote. So that is how the system works.
Do you think that your World Bank will heed to your call?
Well, we have submitted. We are in touch with the World Bank. We are in touch with the World Bank, and then we believe that the World Bank believes in accountability, and they don't in any way joke with transparency and the judicial system resources. And we believe that the Ministry of Education is also, interested in being accountable to the people. And so the ministry will even be happy that the World Bank is conducting an independent verification of the results of the said training, so that it will put this matter to rest, and most importantly, affirm the credibility of the data that the Ministry of Education submitted to the World Bank. And that integrity is very, very important.
Right. Kofi Asare, I'm grateful for your time this evening. He is the Executive Director for Africa Education Watch there, sending, a proposal to the World Bank to conduct an independent probe into this issue of $1.2 million embezzlement by the Education Ministry. Now, you're also watching News Night. It's time for us to take a break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to News Night. It's time for us to go for business updates, and the man who has carried the whole business week is in the house. Kenneth Jesse.
Well, hi, Annie. Up next is business. In business tonight, the African Development Bank's annual meeting has ended today. The 5-day event hosted in Accra is to seek solutions to the climate change crisis, poor intra-African trade, the spiraling unemployment rate in Africa, among other challenges confronting the continent. All over, the annual Africa Development Bank Group meeting held in the nation's capital, Accra, has come to a close. The race to get 600 million Africans connected to electricity to boost our industrialization agenda has begun. The race is on for 900 million Africans who lack access to clean cooking facilities has begun. Infrastructure within the African continent is also not the best. These were some of the things that were discussed here at the 5-day event at the Accra International Conference Center. Let's hear the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
The short-term economic consequences in the form of rising inflation, subdued growth, increasing inequality, and greater macro-fiscal instability is affecting cost of living on this continent. I have no doubt that the bank will rise up to the occasion and help our economies scale over these hard times. I commend the Board of Governors for their foresight in endorsing the broad framework for the bank's strategic outlook 2023 to 2032, that is for the next 10 years, to build a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development.
The African Development Fund is going to the markets to use its accumulated equity of $25 billion to be able to raise $35 billion will not add to Africa's debt. It is the opposite. It will in fact reduce Africa's debt exposures. We at the bank, we looked at the volume of Eurobonds issuances by ADF countries over a long period of time from 2011 to 2021. And we compared it to the cost of getting the same amount of resources from the African Development Fund. Over that period, the ADF countries issued $35 billion worth of Eurobonds, and of course 10 billion euros also.
We have collectively come to the table to proffer solutions to address the multiple challenges that confront us. Personally, I profited from the immense counsel of many regional and non-regional governors as we deliberated and reached a common ground based on collective trust.
The leaders that gathered here want to ensure that Africans can travel freely within the continent without any hassle. They also want to ensure that the continent trades among itself, which is at 16%. They want to at least make sure that it gets above 50%. How achievable are these objectives? Time will tell. Kenneth Jesse, Conference Center, Accra. Business executives of Electroland Ghana have challenged unemployed youth to consider creating their own startups. It is their expectation that their newly opened branch, Homeland Ghana, will create a major opportunity for such youth to realize their business potential.
Electroland Ghana is noted for the sale of a wide range of electrical appliances. The new Homeland Ghana branch of Electroland deals in home-needed essentials including kitchen utensils, children's toys, bags, cartoons, and games for retailers and end users. The purpose of this other branch is to create avenue for young people to build their own startups through very affordable means.
We deal in unique, quality, affordable home essentials in general, and then toys. These are unique pieces that you will not get from anywhere, and they come from the best of manufacturers. And aside the fact that we opened it to get profit, we are also looking at establishing a lot of young women. A business that has been running in Ghana for almost 16 years, which has about 90% of Ghanaians as workers. It is something that he looks at continuing. But then, in as much as we would want to give employment to people, we cannot give to everybody. And we have come to a time where everybody is crying of unemployment. And so, Homeland and Toysland is here to also empower both women and men.
The brand influencer of Electroland and Homeland Ghana, Delorian Frimpong Manso, known as Delay, while expressing hope that Electroland will become the first port of call for home essentials, and also encouraged young people to take advantage of it to start their own businesses.
We already have branches in town. There's a branch at East Legon, one in Tudu. We opened one earlier in the year in Tamale. And now we're inviting people to come here with as little as 500 Ghana or 1,000 Ghana. You can start up a business. We're encouraging people to open online shops and come here and be a part of this wonderful experience. Homeland Stores is your one-stop shop for kitchenware and cookware and kids products. So you're all welcome to Homeland Stores. And this company was brought into the country by Electroland, importers and distributors of NASCO and Samsung. So it's a tried and tested brand. You can count on us. We're here to serve you with quality products at affordable prices.
That'll be it for business. My name is Kenneth. Jesse, back to Annie for the rest of the bulletin.
Kenneth, thank you. It's so good to have you back in the house.
Same here.
Welcome back. Right, so that's it for business. It's time for us to take another break.
My name is Asiodua Akumia. Acting Director, Policy Planning at the Ministry of Tourism, Jeffrey Tamaklo, has urged the public to patronize Ghanaian handicrafts to help boost the country's economy. He made the call when the Dubois Center opened its arts and craft exhibition.
The exhibition attracted over 50 exhibitors. It was organized by GEPA in collaboration with Dubois Center and Accra Arts and Crafts Market as part of Africa Union Week.
Every year, we select a topic or a theme that we dwell on. This year is about nutritional health. Talking about food because that is the theme. This is an art and craft market. You know, it's all about our culture. The issue is nutrition, health, and arts and culture. So, because today is the first day, other people from tomorrow, you see food, you see other things. So that is why you don't see so much food today. But it's about good nutrition.
According to operations manager of the Accra Arts and Craft Markets, the exercise was a way of building the capacities of the vendors to market their products to buyers.
Now for our next story, an all-new brass band group, the Kentos Music Band, was launched yesterday, and the premium band is set to bring an all-new experience to live band music performance in Ghana. There is more in this report.
Although the band has been playing for a while now, it was officially launched yesterday at the Sky Bar here in Accra. The Kentos Music Band is a 14-member band made up of 7 horsemen, 3 drummers, a percussionist, a saxophonist, and 2 singers who have come to be known as a unique music band, quite different from the bands around. The band plays without any electronic instrument such as keyboards, bass guitar, or lead, which are usually part of a live band set. Speaking to Metro News, co-founder and leader of the band, Echo Joe, said they are officially coming out to be more visible to the general public and are excited about the new journey they'll be embarking on. Present at the launch were musicians Kim Promise and Pride Tetia, who performed with the band to the excitement of patrons.
Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Asiodua Akumia. Annie?
Yes, Asiodua, thank you for that. I was just rushing into dancing to that tune. Thank you for the updates. Right, so let's now take some international stories. Now, on the international front, Chief TESAC safety official has said that police made the wrong decision by failing to storm the classroom in Robb Elementary School as gunman killed 19 children inside. Stephen McCraw said during a heated press conference on Friday that there was a 40-minute gap for the police unit's arrival to when they entered the classroom. Now, pupils inside made multiple calls begging for police to come in. The delay in response, now confirmed in a new timeline offered by the authorities, has raised even more questions about why 18-year-old Salvador Ramos was inside the school for so long before he was killed, not by local officers, but by tactical units led by U.S. border agents. And that's all we have for you this evening for News 90. Came to live from the Accra Boahima studio at Northridge, and also on Metro TV Facebook, that's Metro TV Ghana, on DSTV channel 277. My name is Ania Fampofu. Thank you so much for being with us.